So ever since Hytale was announced all the way back on December 13th of 2018, the whole community has had that question on mind: when is Hytale gonna release? I've made previous Hytale videos talking about their previous blog posts, but today we got 4 brand new massive blog posts from Hytale, and we've got some great news and we've also got some bad news. Stick around for the whole video to see Hytale's release date, actual gameplay inside of Hytale, and so much more. Just before we get into it, make sure you guys have tapped that like button and that subscribe button to show your support. If you guys are still hyped for Hytale, make sure you have tapped that like button today. I want to really see, you know, the support the community has for Hytale. I've still got so much support for it even after these blog posts I'm about to show you guys, but nevertheless, let's get straight into it. So Hytale released 4 blog posts today, as you can see: the November 2019 development update, a Hytale's graphics update, which is a very interesting one, 4 new pieces of music from the Hytale soundtracks, and a progress update November 27th, 2019. So let's start at the bottom with that progress update. Obviously, if you guys want to take a proper thorough read, I'll link them all down below, but I'm going to be summarizing it all for you guys in today's video just to make sure it doesn't drag on too long. So in this blog post, they don't focus on one feature, they talk about a lot of features or upcoming content that we should be excited for. So they talk about new biomes. Apparently, as you can see, over the last few weeks, 2 new biomes have been incorporated into the world gen systems for Zone 1 and Zone 2. In Zone 1, you might encounter an autumn forest, a densely wooded area where the leaves have turned deep orange and brown. Explore to find mushrooms, pumpkin crops, and some decorative glowing flora. Taking a look at these images, they look absolutely amazing. I love the orange colors, definitely giving that autumn forest vibe. The next one in Zone 2 is actually called an Oasis Biome. These verdant areas provide stark contrast to the desert wilderness and an opportunity to harvest materials that may not be easy to find elsewhere. Be mindful, however, you're not the only creature that might be drawn to an isolated lagoon. So little hint there that we're not going to be the only encounters over in these Oasis biomes, but wow, these biomes look amazing, man. Very vibrant colors, very cool to see. So the next thing they talk about is farming. Obviously, we saw farming all the way back, as I say, in December when that first trailer was released, showing us, you know, a lot of the farming features, and you know, that's probably one of the big things I'm excited for personally inside of Hytale. But we've got a progress update, as you can see here. Farming is an important part of Hytale, and the last few months have been spent refining the design and implementation of key aspects of this feature, including tilling the earth, planting seeds, and harvesting crops that grow in real time over the course of several in-game days. So that's a cool feature. The fact that, you know, it doesn't seem, I mean, it might be. Remember in Minecraft, you know, you can bone meal crops to speed them up, but clearly here it's going to be a much more kind of realistic take on it, and I'm a fan of this, definitely. So they talk about future steps, including livestock farming, so animal farming, I like that. Animal domestication, wow. Including an animal happiness system that will react to a variety of features, including the feed they have, good bedding they have, and similar creatures. So that's interesting. So your animals are going to have like a kind of like, you know, they're gonna have feelings, literally. That sounds amazing to see, definitely. So this is an exciting one. New monsters and new mysteries. Many new creatures and adversaries are in the works. You can expect to see some of them cropping up in screenshots in future posts, and even later in this one. In the meantime, he has a sneak peek at a new undead creature. What on earth is that? That is kind of creepy, but okay. But that's pretty much it. But they say they're going to close out this update with some in-game development shots of environments and creatures from elsewhere. Okay. There'll be a time to go into more details in the future, but for now, we hope you enjoy this glimpse into some of the challenges you face when you enter some of the adventure modes, yet uncharted territories. Okay, so right here from this screenshot, you know, we can see, you know, it's clearly underground with grass by the looks of it. Actually, no, I think that might be water? I'm not sure. I think that does look like water, right? So maybe like sewage system. That's how it looks to me, but nevertheless, we can see some of the armor that our characters can wear as well. Looks a little pungent, so yeah, definitely like the sewers. Okay, where's my glass of water shaken? Oh my god, dinosaurs, dude. Freaking dinosaurs, what? Alright, so the next blog post is regarding music tracks. Of course, a lot of you probably got interested in this, but I think it's going to take up too much time if we listen to each of them. But as I say, I have linked all 4 blog posts down below, but we do have some kind of new, cinematic shots right here. These are pretty cool. I'll roll them in the background, of course, right here, guys. But take a read, 4 new music tracks, and you probably listen to a couple of them in the background of today's video. So moving on to the next one, the Hytale graphics update, and this is definitely an interesting one, guys. So they talk about the fact that, you know, Hytale's based on a custom engine. It's nothing that was like pre-made. They've built this whole game from scratch, and I definitely respect that. Obviously, they're making it from scratch, so of course there's going to be slow development. So they talk about some of the new features that they've managed to, you know, develop inside of this whole like Hytale engine, I guess we can call it. And they talk about right here, real-time shadows. Now this is an exciting one. Obviously it does give that game, any game, that realistic vibe. And I'm definitely a fan of it. It's something that Minecraft should have had built in stock, or they could have done better stock instead of having to, you know, download like Minecraft shader mods. But Hytale's clearly one step ahead of that. So they've clearly put a lot of time into these new shaders. So I'm definitely liking the look of these. They talk about the fact that whereabouts the sun is or the moon is, it'll, you know, impact the way the shadows are kind of portrayed. So I do like that. Even with different weather, the shadows are going to be kind of affected. So if it's raining, it might be kind of heavier shadows. If it's sunny, it could even be lighter. So that is cool. Here's a little gameplay clip of a time lapse of how the shadows kind of change throughout the whole day from morning to night inside of Hytale. Another feature that they've managed to develop is water effects. So they've clearly tried to make, you know, the inside of the water, whether you're in it, whether you're just outside on the normal world, a lot more immersive. And, you know, we can clearly see that within these images, you know, definitely underwater, the kind of like, what's it called? Like the lighting coming through the water that you would normally get in real life. Just looks great. They also talk about bloom and sun shafts. So we can see from these images alone, you know, depending on where the sun is, the light shafts, or the sun shafts as they're calling it, is clearly being worked on a lot to make obviously the game a lot more immersive. We can see from this image right here, inside of like a kind of cave, we can see the sunlight coming through, and it just looks great, man. Really, the little details like these really do make a big impact inside a game. Same with this bison's horns. Even such like a little kind of object blocking the sun, we can still see it coming down the sides of the horns. I know that's just a little thing, but it does look great. And it doesn't stop there. Some other improvements that they've made include work on particle effects, revamped a huge number of textures, and improved screen space ambient occlusion to create a stronger sense of definition around the object. So here's some kind of screenshots. A pair of adventurers go for a walk inside of zone 3. Wow, man. You know, we can see that sunlight coming through the trees. Those little things just look great in my opinion. Here's a screenshot of how it looks inside of a dense forest, you know, with a lot of trees. The light coming in and above just through the leaves and things just looks amazing, man. And this is an interesting one. Inside of the houses that you can build, look at it come through the windows and the cracks and things, man. It just looks amazing. Seriously, man, these dynamic shadows are just absolutely amazing, and that really shows the detail Hytale are putting into Hytale itself, you know. These little improvements really show their dedication. Now this is a big one. Gameplay of Hytale from a normal player's perspective. Finally, instead of just, you know, having outside cinematic shots, we've actually got gameplay. Take a look at this. So straight away from that clip alone, we can see the combat system and how it works. Very smooth. I'm not seeing a lot of clunkiness, which I do like. You know, we can see the improvements to the graphics that they've just talked about. We can also see that you can choose your username, which is interesting, and it shows above your head just like inside of Minecraft, which I used to think was just such an amazing thing inside of Minecraft. So I'm happy Hytale have incorporated that too. We can see the inventory system. You've got 9 slots of weapons, health bar maybe down there, I'm not sure, maybe similar to Minecraft, food, and like your thirstiness. In the bottom right, it seems as though they're kind of like extra things. We can see a compass icon on the M key. We can see a loot bag on the E key. maybe a handshake. I don't know, man. What do you guys think those ones in the bottom right are? Let me know in the comments. Now on to the final and fourth blog post they released, the November 2019 development update. And just be prepared, this isn't the best of news. So they do apologize yet again for their lack of blog post and kind of communication. I mean, they talked about this a while ago. I believe Noxy did, but they say that they've been hard at work and things like that, which is perfectly understandable. And they've had a few issues and opportunities and challenges and things like that. Now they also talk about the fact that the team and the developers, the artists, etc., have gotten anxiety over the past few weeks because obviously expectations are high and rising. People are waiting, including myself. And I do understand that there is a lot of pressure on them, and they don't want to mess up and release the game earlier or anything, because obviously the game's got great potential. I've said that from day one. Hytale has the potential to be amazing, the biggest thing we've ever seen ever. So they don't want to mess up on that opportunity at all. And they admit that they weren't really prepared, for the degree of intense analysis that we've received from players, the hype, etc. They really weren't prepared. They say they're working on a new studio for the whole development team, which is great. Obviously that's going to be great for the developers, the artists, to have their own space to work on Hytale alone. Now this is the bad news, I guess we can say. We previously said that Hytale will be ready when it's ready, because we're serious about providing the community with a game that meets their expectations. We can now be a little bit more specific, factoring in the scale of the project and the high bar we want to hit. We're planning for Hytale to be playable for everyone in 2021. 2021! I mean, I understand and all. When I first read this, I was a little bit annoyed. I was like, are you for real? 2 more years of waiting. Really, Hytale. But I can completely understand that, they want to be ready for the full game release. I can completely understand, the potential the game has. They don't want to mess up on it. There is obviously, to them, a lot more work to be done from a viewer's side and a player's perspective. The game looks like it's in a great state, at least for a beta test, which is why I'm a little confused. I hope to God they mean by this full release, playable by everyone. I'm assuming that's what they mean, because obviously they're still on the website. We can still sign up for the beta. As I say, make sure you guys have done that, because you do want to be ready for that. But hopefully what they mean by 2021 is the full game release, you know what I mean? Which I'm really hoping they meant, man, seriously, because a beta in 2021 seems, to me, a little unreasonable. I mean, the game right now, as I say, hopefully this beta test will give them, more knowledge from a player's perspective, which is what they want, So I hope they don't wait until 2021 for a beta test. I'm assuming they're not, but expect beta hopefully in 2020. Full release hopefully in 2021. But I want you guys to leave a comment down below on your opinions. Are you happy with this response that they've gave us? 2021, do you think it's reasonable, etc, etc? I really want to hear your guys' thorough responses in the comments, man. They even agree that they're aware that this is a long wait and all, but we believe we owe our players the best possible game that we can make, and it's important to be realistic about it. They further talk about the fact that Hytale being such a hyped up game has gave them opportunities to work with different partners and things, so obviously that's great news. They're able to outsource and work with different people from other game companies, which is great. So they still don't agree that crowdfunding is the best fit for this project, but it's equally important that we approach potential partnerships in a way that will allow us to deliver the best result for players and content creators. They also say that a lot of the features that we've seen in the past inside of Hytale are probably even going to be revamped, changed, or removed, which is interesting, right? But some good news is that they agree, they've heard what we've had to say, that the Hytale community would prefer them to be a bit more vocal and open about where they're at, so they're going to do that starting from now. So that's good to hear. They'll be seeking feedback on certain features and etc, etc. So that's great to hear. They're going to be a lot more open. Now, something interesting is at the bottom they say, we know players are still waiting for answers on things like beta testing, release platforms, and our business model. Unfortunately, it's still too soon for us to make announcements in this regard, but we do know how important these subjects are and they haven't been forgotten. So that's good to hear. Hopefully, as I say, beta testing seems to be a completely separate thing to that whole 2021 thing. I'm praying we get something beta wise in 2020. Now, even after hearing all this new news, good news, bad news, I still believe in Hytale, man. Considering they're putting so much effort in and it's something fresh, I've still got all the support for them. I do understand that it could take up to, a year or so. But I was taking a first look at it. 2021 seems like a long way away, but it's literally just over a year. Like, it isn't too long. During that time, we're going to get a lot more content, blog posts, possibly a beta test. So I'm not too upset. I was at first glance, but I've kind of realized now, it's a reasonable response, and I'm happy they've kind of gave us some vital information now. So there we go, man. What do you guys think? Hytale in 2021? Do you think a beta could come out in 2020? What do you guys think about that gameplay footage, all those new features, etc, etc, guys? Make sure to take a read of the 4 blog posts yourselves. Follow me on Twitter to stay up to date on all things Fortnite and Hytale. Of course, make sure you have tapped that like button and that subscribe button to stay up to date on Hytale too. And if you'd like to get some perks while supporting the channel at the same time, you can consider becoming a Twitch sub or a YouTube member and checking out all the perks right here. But thanks a lot for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.